What are my top cryptocurrencies? I get that question so often. So I want to take a couple minutes of your time to kind of guide you guys through my investment strategy, which cryptos I'm buying and why I'm buying those. And the simplest thing is I buy for profit. I don't necessarily buy purely because it's the best technological advancement, but I do believe in unison there. I do believe that often a crypto that has the best tech will also do the best in terms of price, but it just might take some time for people to realize that. So as we get further in this video, I'll explain a couple of examples where I think the tech way outshines the actual price right now, meaning they're just undervalued for how good they, in my opinion, actually are. And so let's quickly start with a little basket of coins I recommend to everybody that's got a pretty good chunk of money, meaning thousands of dollars, because that's a pretty good chunk in the investment landscape, or is in a phase where they'd rather just make sure they have some money and they're not in the mindset of go big or go broke. For all those, I'd suggest Bitcoin and Ethereum, I'm not a financial advisor, these are just my thoughts, as a base in their portfolio. What I mean is, if I had to think of a currency that has the highest probability of staying the same, if not slightly higher, and beat inflation, beat the dollar, etc., I'd say Bitcoin. If I'd say that same, but then with a slightly higher multiplier to do well, I'd say Ethereum, but there's the caveat that they might be sued by the SEC or something kind of sketchy might happen in that regard. So it's a little bit below that. Sometimes I get afraid I might be bit by a bug or something, so if I'm scratching my butt, you're wondering, Dusty, what the frick are you doing? Hey man, in the jungle or in the mountains or whatever, you can't be too certain it's not something actually scratching your butt. Little tip from old Dusty right there. So those two I always recommend as a base layer because they're least volatile for the most part, or at least safest. The reason I didn't put XRP in that little list is because I think the gains with XRP are very much out of proportion. Meaning, if you buy into XRP, I do it in almost any portfolio, regardless of how safe you want to be, because I'd say it's a lot more volatile, but most likely in a good way. Meaning, they got sued by the SEC before. It was a really big situation for a couple of years. And because of that, I believe they did not hit an all-time high back in 2021. It did in 2017, which was good, but then it didn't in 2021 because of the SEC's lawsuit. And I personally think that most likely because of the technology just, continuing on and them in reality only getting better, that they will still hit an all-time high in 2021, which will most likely be, in 2023, which will most likely be proportional to Bitcoin's gains in that period too. Meaning where Bitcoin went from 20,000 to 69, XRP should have gone from $3 to 10, where Bitcoin is going to go from 70,000 to 150 or whatever. I think XRP will also go to about $20, $25 the next bull run. And that's why I always say to people, the reason I am so excited about XRP is mostly because of that. And so I have it in every portfolio regardless of risk. It's not as stable, so it's a little bit more on the accumulation part, not so much preservation, but I'm bullish on it. Now, a lot of my whale friends have told me Solana is the buy. And it's interesting to me because I'm actually not really a big holder of Solana at all. I never was. But then I see those remarks and I'm like, well, perhaps Solana is in a better position than many of us actually realize. I mean, there have been many scandals with Solana, so many, it's hard to even name them all. And most of my friends that used to work for Solana have left, so I don't have that much insider information anymore. Not insider tradable information, I just meant like, hey, these are the news updates, here's a little list of things that are going on, so I have a good grasp. I didn't, unfortunately, have any inside info to be able to trade it. Just once it's already out, it's sometimes easier if somebody sends you all the details in a little list so you can go over them, especially if you are a bigger investor or if you're a content creator for the most part. I sometimes try to establish those bases with projects so they send me other updates so I can kind of like filter and see what I share with you guys, the most important ones. But most of them are too lazy to do that, which I think is stupid because it's free marketing. But hey, that's besides the point, right? I don't charge anything, it's just, send it to me and I might cover it if it's something my viewers would want to see or if it's a good investment update. But some of them are too lazy, whereas I think we have a little problem. Is that just a mosquito? You never know, man. I've seen these hornets. They're big as shit. I ain't taking no risks. Anyway, to continue on that list, 𝗪𝗏 was one of my best coins for the previous run. But I personally think this ZK, this layer 2 for Ethereum, it's been so overused, so overhyped, and there's so many of them. They're not really controversial, groundbreaking anymore. It's just they're utilizing similar technology, making it slightly better. But I'm not sure that that's where the big potential for the next run is going to lie. I think perhaps Chainlink, which is in the number 18 position, at $7.30 right now, might be slightly better for the perspective that it's what everybody uses all the time. Oracles are always going to be necessary, are always going to be around with the way the crypto landscape currently works. And the only thing is they might be upgraded, they might be changed, but Chainlink is on a very, very nice pace to change things. All I've got in front of me, by the way, is CoinMarketCap, so I'm just scrolling through this list, seeing whichever cryptos I personally think are best, and which I hold a ton of. Chainlink is one of them that I've bought heavily into this cycle because I just think it's undervalued for how big of a pivotal role they play in the general crypto landscape. And many people don't realize just how crucial they are. Another question I get very often is, okay, so are you more into layer 2s or layer 0s, like a Cosmos, Polkadot, etc.? And both of them are in the same ballpark of, they used to be game-changing, groundbreaking, but I just don't think they are. Do I still hold them? Yes, I have still Polkadot, I have still Atom, I have still, like I said, those layer 2s like 𝗪𝗏 and the ones that are more up and coming, but just a lot less than before, because I'm just less excited about them than I used to be. Same thing for vechain. Man, if there was one big supporter of vechain, it was me. And then I met up with some co-founders of vechain and I thought, you know what? It's pretty good. They've got a really good idea. But there's just so many other cryptos that are slightly better. So am I really excited about vechain, about their prospect? Yeah, I think they'll definitely succeed in the future. But do I think other projects will way outperform? Yes, I do believe so. And what I've just mentioned to you are like my certainties. A little bit lower on that list, which are coins that you buy if you want to take a little bit of risk, meaning they're a little bit more volatile. They do slightly, if not a lot better in a bull run, but worse, way worse in a bear run. Or the payment type of coins, because honestly, guys, DeFi/payments are always going to be relevant, which is why I just gave you guys a little iffy with Polygon and whatnot, because of course, if we're not seeing it just from layer 2, scaling Ethereum, but we're seeing it from a DeFi perspective, that's still pretty huge. And in there come the DEXs, the most known DEXs like Uniswap, PancakeSwap, etc. But also, as I was trying to say, perhaps your 𝗕_bar, your XDC, your QNT, because those are your I guess 𝗕_bar is more of a platformer still, so perhaps even in the DeFi space that could be even huger. That one I'm mostly just buying into for the institutional grade adoption that they've got, which is pretty huge. But the other ones, story still lies. I'd say next run, Aptos and Sui, perhaps even Say, might be rushers. Because every run you have some layer 1s that do exceedingly well. You don't know which ones yet. But perhaps, again, institutional adoption is going to make it so that even though these coins are not fully vested, so still a lot of tokens are having to unlock. Vested, by the way, means if institutions buy in, mostly they buy in at a cheaper price than what the price lists at. But most of the time they don't get their tokens day one, they get it over the next couple of years. So perhaps they have to wait a year and then just get it part by part, or they have to get it, every quarter they get a chunk of coins, for example, for the next 2 or 5 years or whatever. With Aptos and Sui, those are heavily VC-backed cryptos, so they have a lot of unlocks, which are scary. 𝗕_bar is similar. They have really good partnerships, really, really good backing, but that also means that a lot of people in there are going to take profit hard as the supply just increases. So a good example is a coin like 𝗕_bar. If it got to an all-time high before, right now it might have to go 7 times the price to go to an all-time high for for market cap. Yeah, there we go. Because the no, I'm changing that up. It should be the opposite way around. They might never have to go to as high a price because of market cap. Meaning, if it went to $1 billion before, in terms of market cap, but they had, 1 billion coins. Right now they have 10 billion coins. They might have changed from $1 per coin to 10 cents per coin and still be at the same market cap. But a lot of people would think, oh, it's only 1/10 the price. It still can go 10x. Well, but they've got 10 times the coins now. And that's for a lot of these institutional backed cryptos, which is why I'm never as bullish on them as on a lot of others, at least most of the time. And honestly, if we're talking about really my biggest backing, my biggest believings, I'd say you've already had it. You know, XRP is my #1 biggest believing, and I think XLM will follow a similar path. Chainlink is my golden ticket for the next run, and I think things like 𝗬𝗎 and 𝗕𝗠𝗪𝗏 have a good potential because they're properly backed layer 1s, and layer 1s, they tend to do well in the next bull run. Again, for the most part, those are my certainties. If we're talking uncertainties, my expectation is, like I just said, that we are going to get another run where we don't know the sector just quite yet. It could very well be that it's going to be another DeFi run. So AVA and things of that sort are going to absolutely pop off. And for example, you things like Uniswap, your PancakeSwap, because PancakeSwap did so phenomenally well before. It could be we're going to get another metaverse run. So your Sand, your Mana, your things of that nature are going to absolutely pop off. And again, you won't know this up front. You'll have to see it when it's there. On the DeFi realm, by the way, there's also FXS, there's Curve. Those might also be in a good position. Got a little scared because of that wasp. I'm a little baby when it comes to big-ass hornets, guys. I'm going to be honest with you here. I am messing around with it. I'm in their territory right here. And I saw a man yesterday just grab one of them with his hand. I thought, you know what? That's why I appreciate Pakistan man, you know. Or maybe even Nigerian man, whatever. They got that furiousness. You know, me as a European baby. No, I ain't doing that. I ain't grabbing a wasp with my freaking hands. Somebody's looking at me, by the way, because they're looking like, why are you recording in the middle of a freaking mountain? They're like annoyed, I think. I saw that face. That is not a face of pleasure. They wanna rest. Why is this guy shouting in his house? Outside his house, I should say. Yeah, and I've been looking through the list right here. There's so many coins, actually, that I think will do exceedingly well over time. But I usually just share them whenever that's the time, right? For example, your Floki, your Bone, all that type of Shiba type of garbage, those dog coins, will most likely not do well until we're in a really big bull run. But even then, it's a little bit of a risk, meaning you don't know when or which one of those will actually come back up the next run. I don't think NFT type of coins will do exceedingly well. Perhaps WorldCoin is another good contender. There you go. Did you see the wasp? Could you see it, the hornet? WorldCoin perhaps might be a good contender. Not because of the supply, because the supply is really garbage. The tokenomics are really, really stupid. I just mean the potential in that. Again, there's not real good reason to buy. It's just mostly a good reason to sell. Yet the price has held up quite nicely, I've noticed. So that's why I'm saying, hey, might be a contender. I'm looking through this list. Many of them in the top, like 200, are kind of garbage. A lot of the coins that I really do appreciate are in the top 100. And for the most part, my story that I just explained to you stands. Algorand has good potential, mostly just in the bull run. XDC's got good potential, but it's mostly for the good part of the run. EGLD kind of fell off a little bit, I noticed. EOS, completely garbage. Sand, dependable. Axie, not buying. Theta, completely different use case, depending on the market. Torchain, I'd say fell off a little bit. They used to be amazing, kind of fell off. And when I say they fell off, I just mean the excitement is not as much as it used to be. And so you're going to have to see once the run comes back. They're not on my certain list. Same thing for these exchange tokens. The hype fell off around them because of all the lawsuits. And so you're going to have to see once the run is there. And that's the most crucial part. But that's why I always say, guys, make sure you freaking hit that notification bell. Because what if something crazy happens, you want to be notified. I always try to say that. And understand, as the run continues on, I'll be sharing more and more of my thoughts whenever it comes out. And I'll most likely be changing my list very significantly over the next couple of months. As I've told you, most crypto projects I've spoken to, they've got way more in the pipeline than they're making it seem. They've got, and by the way, I can't see myself, so I'm hoping that I'm in frame. Perhaps I'm completely out of it. But a lot of these guys have got so much more partnerships lined up, so much many more announcements lined up. They just haven't told us because they're waiting for the bull to return. Why? Simple story. Most games right now have got their version 2 of the game lined up. The reason they're not telling you about it is because if they did and the price did not pump, many people would be very disappointed. You understand that? That if they did announcements right now and the price wouldn't pump, like with the Ripple case where they won from the SEC and the price didn't really do too well, people start fearing that that's it, it's over. In a bull run, usually if you get these crazy exciting announcements, the price does do well, which is why they want to kind of leave them. And I've noticed that with every crypto project I speak to, they say, let's wait with announcements for another couple of months or so. So most likely my portfolio will change as more projects start updating again. And this is not my main portfolio. I'm just sharing with you guys my thoughts. But hey, I've made a program. I've said it. I've not been selling it or giving it out just quite yet. But where I'm talking more about how I would build a proper portfolio, how I think about all these different things. Because as you see in this video, I give everything away for free, but sometimes people like to have it in one simple course or things like that. So that's coming up. soon enough. Or perhaps already out. Maybe I've linked it down below. Who knows? But yeah, that's about it for this little crypto update. Hopefully you guys learned something from it, even though I'm not a financial advisor. That's about it.